Hello, good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. My name is Akinola from Great Minds Group, and we're delighted to host you all on this very interesting webinar today, hosted with our presenting partner, TechnoVal. Today, we are talking business transformation, and we're going to be looking at how organizations can unlock the full potential of their information asset. And I'm hoping to have a very interesting session and also to have you guys also have a great session, because we know as we keep evolving in this new digital era, transformation has become a very key part of our business processes that is helping organizations to adapt and keep pace with all the different progress that we are getting in this new era. Before we get into the mix itself, I would like to just walk us through some quick housekeeping. Please note that depending on where you are, you can use your camera on, but again, if you don't want to put it on, that is absolutely fine. Note that all participants are muted, and if you would like to be part of the conversation, you can use the chat or you can raise your hand, and then we'll be able to work that out for you to be able to join the conversation. Please note that if in case you drop out of any network or based on the link you are connected with right now, if you drop out of the call, note that you can join back using the same link, and the team will be able to admit you back from back end. And last but not the least, we want to make this as very interactive as possible. We have a session for Q&A before we wrap up the event. Feel free to put in your questions in the chat box, and our speakers and panelists will be able to respond to them. Just to give you a quick rundown of the agenda we have for today, once I'm done with a quick opening now, I will be passing it on to our first speaker for today, who is Yashpal Jain. Yashpal is from the TechnoVal team. He's the head of UAE operations at an open text practice, MENA, for TechnoVal. And after that, we'll be having a panel discussion, which is the one I'm really looking forward to. We have a very interesting lineup of speakers who will be sharing their thoughts. I'll be introducing them in the next slide. And after that, we will be having about 10-15 minutes question and answers to have you join us in this conversation. So please use the chat box to put in the questions, and we'll be able to take them. Just to put faces to our speakers, we have Akbar Ratani. Akbar is the Akbar is Director of MENA Bev, is in KSA. We have John Matthew, Deputy CIO, Lu Group International. We have Hamza Sheikh. Hamza is the IT Manager, Gulf Medical Company. We have Sanjit Rutalal. Sanjit is the IT Manager, Aldara Holdings. And of course, I introduced Yashpal earlier. So at this point, I will not want to waste much time. I would like to pass it on to Yashpal to take us further in this session. Hi, Yashpal, can you hear me?
Yes, Aki. Thank you, Akinola. Thank you very much. Appreciate your introduction. Good morning to all my panelists and all the people who are joined on the webinar. I would like to invite everybody and have as interesting conversation as you can. Ask as many questions as possible. And I would like to start from my presentation. Would like to introduce TechnoVal first, and a little bit on the information management practices which are going on in the industry. And from there, we can start our discussion as well there. Okay, I'll share my screen. Let me know when you can see it, Akinola.
Yes, you're live.
Okay, perfect. So I want to introduce TechnoVal first. What TechnoVal is. TechnoVal is almost a decade-old company, headquartered in Jeddah, and we have offices in Dubai as well as in India, and soon we are starting in Egypt as well there. Our principal partner or technology partner is Delaware. Delaware is a well-known brand in Europe, US, and Southeast Asia, which has super specialized focus on SAP and OpenText services. Combining, we are close to 3,500 professionals all over the globe in almost 15 countries, and we serve almost 4,000 plus customers all over the globe. As you can see, our office locations are in all over the world. We have massive presence in Europe, Southeast Asia, US, and South America. And for the MENA region, our branding is TechnoVal, but we are the same company which we are serving everywhere there. Now, coming to technology partners, as I said, from the technology standpoint, we have SAP and OpenText practice from the services side, and from the infrastructure side, we have Amazon and Microsoft Azure services in our practice all over the globe. So this is about a brief about TechnoVal. I didn't want to take much time on that, and I want to talk more on the information management side of it. If you have any question before that, I can take it, or I can move to the next slide then. Okay. If you see from the information side, customers, the major customers we have in the region, and of course, some of the panelists are these customers. Obviously, Akbar, Hamza, Sangeet, they all belongs to these companies. But if you see from the knowledge perspective or from the industry perspective, we serve government organization, retail, distribution, conglomerate, manufacturing giants, and so on there. So there's a huge range of experience or industry experience we have it all over the region. We have customers in UAE, Saudi, as in Qatar as well there. And internationally, of course, they are a huge diverse range of customers we have it there. Okay. Now, why we want to talk about this information part? If you really see, the information is not an isolated incident. If you're typically as your organization, you're talking about integrating or managing your plants, warehouses, your remote offices, or your office workers which are there in your organization, right? But this is not it. You also have to work with, on one side, financials and legal institutions. You have to talk with your suppliers and your field workers who are on the field doing the actual job. And on the other side, of course, you have to work with your partners, third parties, and suppliers and customers. Now, the challenge is all these entities make the entire business run, correct? And the information flows in that. Organization use many business applications. For example, back office is ERP. They use HR solutions, CRM solution for customers, and other technologies to make sure that all the business runs efficiently in that. But if you really see the flow, there's a huge amount of massive flow between these entities. Maybe it's one-to-one or one-to-many at the same time. And many times these entities are dependent on each other, correct? So if you have to ship it to something, your customer, you have to depend on your suppliers, very obvious. Now, what that means is you deal with a massive amount of information. And many times organization, make a mistakes in understanding that, hey, only the applications or business applications will solve this problem. But that's not true. Only the 20% of business information remains in your business application like ERP and so on there. 80% of your information relies outside, which is in content, right? Which is on your agreement, which is in your emails and so on there. And that's a major challenge. So the organization who do not have the right strategy in converging these two, the content process, which is all your semi-structured information, and your business process, which your ERP or business application process. If they do not converge that, then they do not integrate all the information of organization into one place. And that leads to a massive amount of inefficiencies going forward, because unless you have access to all the information, you cannot decide. And if you cannot decide, you cannot act. And the decision becomes a huge handicap in your process and in decision making. So the idea is contents are everywhere, and you have to deal with all the content along with your business application to make sure you make the most effective use of your data. Okay. We asked this question across the industry, many customers, and we did a survey through many analysts as well there. And they have the same topic, right? We asked them what exactly you're looking at, what challenges you have it. And they said, we want a better automated digital process, not disconnected one. We don't want one process to end in a one application, and then we have to do something manually, and then again, the digital process takes off. That creates a huge, massive inefficiency and visibility issue in our organization. And it's true for your employee process, your customer, supply, or partner process. It's the same challenge. They have it everywhere. Second is we are moving towards a very hybrid environment. We already moved many of the organization, and many are on their road to move to a very hybrid organization, which is, we're talking about some application on-prem, some application on the cloud. There are some government challenges which keep us to have some on-prem solution. Data cannot be outside, whereas other solutions are on the cloud. So they want a complete secure environment where they can guarantee that their data are secure. We have heard of many cyber attacks on the organizations and data exposure, and this is what exactly they are afraid of. And last is the compliance, right? Every time something happens, governments or the industry imposes more and more compliance standard on them. And how do you deal with that? For example, the sales contracts could be sales documents can be kept only for 3 years and then you can discard them. But your employee contracts has to be kept for 10 years. How do you deal with that, right? What changes in your information landscape you need to make sure that these standards are met in your organization or your digital landscape. Now, uh, the challenges, you may seem these challenges are small enough, but if you see the two fundamental business operation, just for example, HR and finance, these two department has been there since the idea of a corporate entity born, right? Um, Still, if you talk about the finance processes, we're talking about in the world, 80% of all incoming invoices are still in paper. That means suppliers are still creating those paper invoices and shipping it to the organization. At one end, we are talking about crypto and going to Mars, and we're still sending 80% of your invoices in paper. You can see the huge gap in that information disparity there, right? This leads to huge amount of visibility issue, the matching issues, the process issues. Similarly, in HR as well there, if you really see the amount of documents we deal with every day, and we have multiple customers in the region and globally on this part, the amount of documents they're managing across the life cycle of an employee till from they onboarded till they retire or they are let go. It's huge. I mean, we're talking about 50 or 60 set of documents per employee, and if as they stay more, there are more set of documents staying there. And how do you deal with them? This is the real issue. We can still talk about a very huge innovation or automation on the shop floor in the warehouse, but we are still dealing with those fundamental challenges which are not been resolved completely. And if these challenges are there with these two basic departments, you would imagine what are the different challenges on the very higher level. And that creates a massive issue in the information management and governance side. We discussed, as I said, we asked these questions to many customers and analysts, and they most of the efficiently ran companies have three major strategies or three major advantage over other companies or their peers. One is culture of knowing. That means the information is passed to everybody in the right time in the right way, right? That means people are able to consume this information in the right way. They are fostering that culture. Second is zero friction. That means there is no connectivity issue between the two processes, right? They are striving towards connecting all these processes as a one single process and not have semi-automated or one part is automation and then completely manual. They're trying to remove that. The more friction you remove from the business processes, the better efficiency it gains, right? And last is simplicity. Make information distribution or access as simple as possible. There are many applications which provides you knowledge management or information management solution, but they are horrendous to use. And the more difficult you make it to use, the less people will use it. And then all other issue will crop up again and again, right? So what they have decided is, hey guys, if you really want to make information management and governance as a key practice in your organization, make sure it is simply available as accessible. You automate as many business process to remove the manual steps in between and make sure that information is distributed to all the relevant people at the right time there. And both the side of the people, if you really see, earlier we used to have only IT department, right? And IT department liaising with the business department and getting the information and responsible for some part there. But this is changing now. There are clearly two different sets of department. One is led by IT and second is led by the business owners. IT is really talking about managing and governance of this information, how we can automate that part. But from the business side or from the experience side, they are demanding information to be available and consumed in the way they want it. Not just being available, but in a way they want it there. And this is where we see a huge convergence of the expectations where the documents, the content, the digital experience, the connectivity with your customers, suppliers, banking institutions, legal institutions, and security, obviously, of all this information is responsibility of both these departments now. And people are working together to make sure that information management is dealt properly in the entire organization. Last slide, I want to take it and then hand over to the Akinola again, is all these analysts, when we interviewed them and discussed with them, they said they are 5 distinct stages of the information maturity model. First stage is obviously you are on paper stages. Second is you are, you're doing everything on a paper base, but you're focusing on preserving your data and everything. Second is you're putting that information online in a technology stack, maybe some applications, maybe it's Excel, doesn't matter, and have some sort of automation in between there. The third stage is where you have major part of information online. You're using all the relevant tools to automate your business process. And of course, they are integrating with the different applications and on. You would be surprised that 80% of the organization in the world or 85% organization in the world are still in stage 3. They have not moved forward, but still it's much better than having in stage 1 and 2. So of course, there's a conscious decision to make sure that the holistic information, both from the application information as well as the content information, are available to everybody, and people are working on that. But we move forward, and I'll give you a couple of examples on that. In the stage 4, people are talking about having that platform available as a APIs, right? They can integrate with the multiple enterprises for their business process. Integration becomes easy. Right. For example, I'll give you a simple example of e-invoicing in Saudi government, which mandated, right? Whereas you have to send all the relevant information to a particular portal and to the database of government online from your application, right? This is, we are moving towards that part, some of the things, right? Some information that the API is created and be able to deal with the government entities seamlessly from our organization. The last part is the scaling or the reusing your information. So as an organization, you have done a lot of automation, you have done a lot of improvements, and you think that that particular advantage you have can be shared with the industry or your peers, and you can monetize that. And that could be a huge advantage. That's called mastering the scale. A perfect example would be Robert Bosch, if you really see. Robert Bosch have their own engineering department. They did a lot of innovation in-house, to make sure that their warehousing, the engineering is as automated as possible. But then they realized, hey, this could serve the entire industry, and they started promoting their information or their solutions in the industry, and they are able to monetize that part. So idea is to move from, as I said, 80% of the organizations on stage 3. The idea is to move from stage 3 to 4 and 5 as quickly as possible, and start making sure that we are on that ascending path from the information maturity. That's it from my side. Thank you very much. Akinola, back to you. If you have any question, please let me know.
Thank you very much, Jasper, for walking us through that quick trends. And I think it's very important point you made was, the realization for me is to see, excuse me, despite all the advancement in transformation, and they talk about transformation, we still have a lot of organizations still working paper. And I think the more we advance towards that, the more our business processes will save a lot. And I hope things can move faster. I don't see any question in the chat right now. I think we can move on to the discussion to be able to bring in our panelists to start having that chat. So over to you, Yashpal. Take it further.
Thank you. I would like to start with the, we have you introduced initially the panelists, but I would like to start with Akbar first, if you can introduce yourself and your company, and then we move on.
Sure, Yashpal. I think it's a pleasure to be part of this interactive session. Very interesting. Couple of slides, I like it. And we are still on the stage 3 overall on a global level. So this is very interesting. Yeah. My name is Akbar Ratani. I joined Mina Bev in 2019. And then, since then I'm with Mina Bev. I'm working for Mina Bev as an IT director. Managing all the information technology for Mina Bev. Just for the Mina Bev point of view, Mina Bev is one of the largest bottler of PepsiCo. We manage the western region of Saudi Arabia, Yemen, and Africa, North Africa. We have the world's largest manufacturing plant of Pepsi in the world, which is highly automated, we are very proud of it. And all Pepsi, yeah. So Pepsi is a known brand, yeah. So whenever you come by to Jeddah, most welcome to share a Pepsi with you guys, yeah. Before joining Saudi Arabia, I spent around 12 years in Singapore with multiple organizations, be it financial institutions like Prudential, Deutsche Bank, pharmaceutical industry like Bayer and Quintiles and other companies. And before joining Singapore, I spent around 3 years in Germany, managing the global project for Bayer across the globe. So, and basically I'm from Pakistan. Yeah. So it's a pleasure that I can share my experience within MinaBev and how MinaBev benefiting from the information technology transformation project. Yeah. Thank you very much, Ash. Yeah. Back to you.
Thank you, Akbar. Really appreciate. Hamza, would you like to continue from your side? Introduce yourself.
Yeah. Hi, good morning, everyone. My name is Hamza Sheikh. I am the IT manager of Gulf Medical. I have been in this IT industry since 2009. I was in IT service provider side, then moved to manufacturing side. Then now I'm with the healthcare industry with Gulf Medical. Gulf Medical is a medical devices distributor. We have offices inside UAE and Saudi Arabia, and we have access to the most of the region of Gulf region. We provide the state-of-the-art medical technologies and equipment and services. They called us as a high-tech medical devices company. We provide, for example, like a robotics, operation rooms, equipments, and heart disease operations devices and organizers. We have a 40 years experience in this field as a Gulf Medical, and we have a qualified team, and we have the right reach to market to install and supply medical devices. Happy to share my experience as well, and thank you, Ashbal, for the introduction.
Thank you, Hamza. Welcome again. Sangeet, can you introduce yourself and your company as well?
Sure, Ishbal. Hello, good morning, everybody. My name is Sangeet. I take care of, I'm an IT manager in Aldara Holding. I've joined this company in 2016. So ever since, like, I'm with the company, and in terms of Aldara is a global leader in agricultural feed. So we specialize in cultivation, production, and trading of animal feed, based mostly and essential food commodities as well. To like from to end to end supply chain management as well. So before this, I was working in India for a couple of years. Then after that, I moved to UAE, and ever since I'm with Aldara.
Thank you, Sangeet. Appreciate. Will be exciting to understand your journey as well there. Everybody know Lulu, but John, last not least, can you introduce yourself and Lulu?
Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Ishbal. Thank you for having me in this panel discussion. My name is John. I am the Deputy CEO of Lulu Group International. You may all know Lulu Group. We are actually headquartered in Abu Dhabi, UAE. We operate in 23 countries across Middle East, Asia, US, and Europe. Our operations covers business divisions in retail, shopping mall, food processing units, and we have a wholesale division and real estate also. So currently we operate 250 stores across the GCC, Egypt, Asia, Indonesia, and Malaysia. So as a Deputy CIO, I am responsible for the IT initiatives, strategies, and the digital transformation of the organization. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, John. Appreciate. So what I'd like to do is start with some questions to my panelists, and I'll start with Akbar now. Akbar, you recently went through last 2 years. You went through a major business transformation journey in MinaBev across different applications and process and everything there. Would you like to share some of your knowledge and what exactly, why did you select from the data governance perspective, OpenText and TechnoVal, and how did the journey help? What kind of challenges you had, and what the knowledge you can share with us?
Sure. Why not? It's my pleasure. Just to give you a brief on it, I think when I joined in 2019, we started a transformation journey within MinaBev. Yeah? And B is a transformation from infrastructure to application to technology to data, and as well as we engage Gartner to understand what is the trend going on in the market. Yeah. And then we basically come up with an idea to transform in a fashion that it is not impacting the business operation, but also helping the business operation. One of the initiative of this digital transformation was an ERP migration, which we all know, being an IT professional, is the most difficult thing. Yeah? And especially when you are moving from very legacy applications like Info and things like that, which is like Myrna or a handheld based application. It's a big journey. It's a big change for the organization, and it's not only from the technology but change management, training, adoption, and so on and so forth. We embark on this journey in 2022, and then we moved on for 1.5 years in this journey. When we started this journey, we had a lot of gaps in terms of like processes. There was some manual intervention, and organically growing organization, they build inbuilt operation and people-based operation where individual knows individuals, and then they make the things happen. In order to transform them into a digital platform, it's really a big task. And then when we started with the migration to SAP S4HANA, being a rigid system of S4, you can imagine there are a lot of gaps being identified with respect to process breaking. People are not interacting together, and then they miss the connection. And one of the big challenge was the master data. And master data is the core for any application to sustain and to operate carefully. Yeah? We evaluated a couple of solutions, be it Oracle, be it SAP, MDG, or Synity, or you name it. We call all the vendors and we give the pilots to all of them to give us at least one master data successful. With our very high disappointment, they were all not been there where we want them to be. Yeah, either they've been slowing down the overall process, or they are so weak that it is difficult to operate in the future. So they've been missing the gaps either side of it. We are a distribution company, and for us, if the customer is not onboarded, we cannot sell them. Once a customer comes on board, we need to create order next day. So we have less than 24 hours to make this customer available. Yeah, and if this customer is not available in 24 hours, we lose the sale. And then that if you will not drink Pepsi today, you will not drink 2 Pepsi tomorrow. Yeah, so you will drink tomorrow again one more Pepsi. Yeah, so we will lose the sale. So it's very important that the customer should be onboarded very fast and should be controlled. It's not like just enter few fields and let the customer go. No, because we have transportation management, we have credit management, we have bank information, now the e-invoicing, and so on and so forth. So it demands us that we should have a solution where we can capture all these documents, make sure that these documents are validated. People are not giving a fake documents. National address is one of the challenge, and many more. Yeah, we are helping customer itself that how to get your VAT number. Yeah, without VAT number, we cannot generate your invoice. So all these challenges requires agility and efficiency. Then we ask TechnoVal, rather we didn't ask TechnoVal, ask us that can we help you? Yeah, and we said, look guys, we asked big players and we've been not very happy. Will you be able to do it? Yeah, we were very suspicious about them. That will you be able to do it or not? And Yashwa said, give me a chance, I will do it for you. I said, okay, take a chance. And it's a very high surprise to me, the way the open text not only integrated with SAP smoothly, but as well as the mobile app, which can give flexibility to my pre-sellers, to my supervisors, to my managers. Either they are on mobile or on desktop or the vacation or abroad, wherever they are, they can process the information very quickly. And now I think we are almost hitting a target of around 16 hours customer onboarding, which is pretty high. Yeah? And I think being a distribution company, the normal benchmark as per Gartner is around 24 hours. So if you are bringing customer clockwise 16 hours, it's a big success. And I think it hasn't some improvement required. I'm not saying we are there, but definitely there are more improvement can be added up in the same process. Yeah, we take it as a master data management for product. Yeah, although Pepsi is a Pepsi, but we introduce scans for football, for Ramadan, and so many different offers. This is also very important to beat the competition, that our product create fast so that we can create the production orders if the material is created in the master data. This is also require less than 4 hours or 6 hours to be ready, and the BOM and the multiple BOM items and the BOM under the BOM, material management, costing, financial interfaces. So there are a lot of challenges to create a material in a right fashion to be available for production orders. We are using IBP as well within SAP. So IBP processes are very rigid if you are not putting the plan in the right fashion. Yeah, so you have to have a 1 week plan in place so that the MRP and DRP can be run properly. Right now, we are very good. We are now, with the help of OpenText, we are creating our material in less than 8 hours. We want to reduce it to 4 hours, but we are still very good for 8 hour perspective, with the visibility that who is spending more time. Yeah, if finance is spending more time, then we can raise a flag that why you are spending 30 minutes in approving this data or entering this data. Yeah, it's a click of a button. Why you are taking this much time? So we are improving now. So we are in the next phase to make sure that our other processes come on board, and slowly but steadily we basically move 60-70% of our processes on OpenText platform. And right now you can see we have some processes in Salesbus, some processes in SAP, some processes in OpenText, which is not the right way. So the objective for MinaBev in the next 3 years, that all my processes will be on OpenText, and ERP will be a pure financial and the production platform. Yeah. So that's where the journey is. The transformation will continue, but this is one of the part of the transformation. We have mobile apps, digital app on the watch, and so on and so forth. So thank you very much for OpenText and TechnoVal to make MinaBev move in the right direction with agility and fast services. Yeah, so that's really impressive. The workflow engine of OpenText was impressive, was really.
Akbar, we cannot hear you. I think, did we lose you, or everybody else can hear?
Yeah, I think
No,
maybe
I think
it's
we lost it.
network.
Okay.
Yeah, we can move on to the next speaker.
Okay. I think for the space of time, I don't know whether he can join back or not, but I'll move on to the next panelist in that case while Akbar joins. But it was a great insight, actually. We didn't know we did such a good work anyway. So thanks to Akbar for pointing it out. Hamza, can I start with you then in that case? You also went through a massive transformation journey, and you're still continuing, as my interaction with you. He's one guy. You wake him up in the 7 o'clock, he's in meeting, and then in the night he's in the meeting. So
Hi guys,
Hamza,
sorry, I think somehow been disconnected. I don't know. I maybe double tap on my watch, the call transfer to here. Yeah, so sorry for
no
that.
worries.
Yeah,
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Akbar, for all the insight. So in the conclusion, can I ask you in that case, did you, because many people implement business process or applications, but then they don't achieve a required ROI. How do you describe your business outcome and ROI after implementing this solution?
So our ROI is very simple. Our ROI is how can we make the customer ready within the number of hours. Yeah. So for example, if I cannot bring a customer within 24 hours, so one customer can sell every day 2,000 cases, or if it's a modern trade customer. If it's a is a traditional trade or bakala, he will sell 50 cases, 100 cases. So we can multiply this number and we can say simply, look, now I'm moving from 48 hours to 16 hours. Yeah. So you have more hours to create orders for this customer. Similarly, the product, if the product is not produced on time, our sugar cost, our raw material cost, our manufacturing cost, As is an automated plant, you can imagine if I push a button, just pushing a button to start the plant cost me 50,000 real, just pushing the button, doing nothing, no production, nothing, just pushing the button, 50,000 real gone. So if my product is not ready for Thursday night for the production of the Friday morning, minimum 50,000 real gone. Yeah. And then the production cost and the raw material cost and the delivery time. And then on shelf cost as well. So the product will be late on the shelf. And if, for example, 1st of Ramadan is there, and then I need to shelf 10 days before the Ramadan, I will lose the shelf. Yeah. And I will lose the shelf space. So ROI is very simple for us. We calculate, what is the time required and what is the per hour cost if I delay. So then we just simply multiply. If we add more hours, we are losing money. If we reduce the hours, we increase the money. It's a distribution business. Very simple. Yeah, very, very simple, straightforward.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that insight as well there. I'll come to my next panelist, Hamza again. Sorry, Hamza, we had to go back again. So you went through a lot of business transformation journey as well there, and you are in a sort of a high tech, as you said, high tech industry of the high tech medical device distributions and selling side of it. And similar sales process becomes a huge differentiator for you. Can you tell us about your journey, what you did, and how OpenText and TechnoVal helped you in those side of it?
Sure, with pleasure. Actually, before starting with my journey, I just have one comment about Akbar's discussion and brief. In my previous position, I was the IT manager for National Factory for Can Ends. Also, we were making the cans for the Pepsi
Yes.
and Coca-Cola beverages, and I think Akbar knows whose Nafsel is. And
Yes.
as he said, manufacturing, especially when you have the MRPs and you have the production planning modules, and I think also he has MII in SAP. All these things, if there is no document management system or content management system supporting them, it will be a real mess to control the processes, the flows, and so on. So I think his
Hamza, we cannot hear you. There's some audio issue.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
Hello?
now it's visible.
Yeah.
Now
So-
it's audible. Yeah.
Sorry, what I was telling.
It looks like before you start, it looks like without any thought, we bought all the related parties together. The person who's manufacturing Pepsi and the Lulu who's selling Pepsi, and you're in the can business, and
No.
Sangeet in the agriculture feed business. So yeah, go
So
ahead.
actually, when he was telling Menabev, I thought, oh my God, I have a connection and somehow. So manufacturing process, it was a really a nightmare with all Coca robots and all these technologies. So as he said, pushing a button, it will cost you money for preventive maintenance and so on. Coming back to my business journey with Gulf Medical. Gulf Medical always likes to have the latest technology, as I said. The first project we start with was the migration of SAP to S/4HANA. We have migrated to the latest 2020. I think now there is a new version, but always we likes to take N-1 to make sure we have everything settled down from the vendor side. After that, we have migrated our SAP itself from on-prem to AWS. So just to get rid of this hardware maintenance issues and data centers, electricity and UPS and backups and so on. So we have everything on cloud, and it was a really challenging, as said by Akbar, to find a real vendor who can do it for you in time, with a scope, with the correct deliverables. I think it's challenging. Then, as the core business for us, we are a sales and services company. We were looking for a solution to automate our sales and order to cash process and procure to pay for SD and MM side of the business process. And actually, before having OpenText, it was really difficult to find your service contracts or warranty contracts or let's say quotations, sales orders, deliveries, billing documents. It was scattered here and there. There is no centralized place to find all these documents, and it was really also a nightmare for end users to work on daily basis. They were spending a lot of time to reach these things. So actually, when Yashpal contacted us for this open text and they did the first presentation to us, it was promising, you know. And as Akbar said, we were suspicious also about, is it correct? Is there any solution like this? It can be done within minutes to reach your data, to reach your files, to have a load balancing, you have a performance. You know, having your ERP in cloud, that means the performance for you is a challenging point of view, correct? So all end users, we have 13 branches scattered in UAE and Saudi Arabia, between warehouses and branches, big offices, small offices, and so on. So having access to your ERP and AWS with without feeling that it's on cloud, it's a really beneficial, you know. So we had open text. Now we have our order to cash and procure to pay. All our quotations or our sales order or our billings documents or our deliveries are having a magic QR code invented by Yashpal and his team, TechnoVal. Whenever we scan a document with their magic QR code, it will go to its respective workspace, and we can add all the related communications like emails, like WhatsApp conversation or website conversation, whatever. We can add it to the workspace to support the relative documents. And I think having this, it was really great, Yashpal. Not only this, for our procure to pay, we have also MRP running for automating the purchase requisitions and POs creation. Also, all these things are residing in its respective workspaces in OpenText with also a push of a button. And TechnoVal helped us in the ROI. How we calculate it for our side, it's just the time to reach to your information or to your data. Whenever someone asks you about that quotation or that sales order or that scheduled agreement or contract, within 30 minutes you can find it instead of 3-4 hours, which was the normal access or time to reach. So I think it was a great journey, and still we are planning to move also our OpenText to OCI, to Oracle Cloud Infrastructure, which is inside Saudi Arabia. Also, as Yashpal said, we need to meet the compliance request from the government. And really thanks TechnoVal for your support.
Thank you, Amjad. Really appreciate your journey, sharing your journey as well there. I'll come to Sangeet now. Sangeet, you have been associated with Aldara for long in agriculture business. Your company is in multi-geography locations, right? And you know, when we had a discussion, the HR was a one pain area where, you know, onboarding people and everything, you know, was a major issue. So can you talk about your journey as well? How did your business transformation on HR side materialize, and what benefits you had there?
Sure. Thank you, Ashpal, again for that. And it's again a pleasure to speak on this panel. So yeah, Aldara actually started the business transformation like even like way back of COVID. Like they were like where we had infrastructure enhancements and application and all other business areas. So like we were one of the first to move to the cloud from this area to AWS. And when it comes to the process, yeah, well, I'll come to the specific of TechnoVal and the HR process, the HR pain points, which Yashpal was talking about. So we had OpenText content server even like since 2018 or something, but we were not using it to the full potential. Like we were only using it for storing documents of each departments. Like we sort of treated this as a replacement for our legacy file server, which was running in a Windows server. So Yashpal and team at TechnoVal is the one who actually like onboarded us to the other features, which the like, digital transformation features of OpenText, which was the first thing was the workflows. So they helped us created workflows which helped the other departments such as logistics, finance, and all to we created portal with the help of Tempobox where support like the suppliers can log in and share their invoices there. Then the team will take it from there and do it in a proper workflow manner where they initiate, goes through certain approvals, and it goes to finance for payment. Like it was a proper end-to-end process, which Yashpal and team helped us create. Then by the same time, we identified like we chose SAP Success Factors as the HRMS solution in Aldara. And being a multinational company, it was tough. The implementation and all those things were really super tough. But yeah, what TechnoVal helped us was to do the ESS part of it, mostly the employee self-service part of it, where the HR team was facing a lot of challenges and all. Like they were literally wasting a lot of time. Where like they were getting all the requests of employee self-service through email or through manual. So an employee request for a salary transfer letter or a salary certificate, which takes time, and all these emails bombarded. Like there was no track, and there was no follow. It was chaos literally. And with the workflows of OpenText, so we created like proper workflows where they can come and request for all these certain employee self-service documents, which goes through a proper approval channel, and everyone in the end-to-end has a visibility on what is happening with the document, what is happening with my request, where is it, who is it pending with, when I'm going to get it back, and all that. And we also had DocuSign in place. So that is something else which TechnoVal helped us to integrate DocuSign with OpenText. So all the signing and the stamping of a legal and HR was taken care by that. I mean, that's where COVID, like it was actually a best time for us to like the integration to happen, because that helped us a lot in for remote working. We were ready for remote working in terms of application, business intelligence, I mean, the corporate application access. But in terms of this legal documents and stamps and sign and all, we were not ready at all. So that is where like they really helped us on that particular thing also. Then another module was the business workspace for employees. So now, though we have like almost 5,000 employees, the non-functional employees take care of their documents on their own. They upload their document, this, that, and meet their Emirates ID, visa, or all their personal documents. They put it in their business workspace on their own. But the other things for the functional users, HR can do it from their self. So, and that was clearly, that was the simple and straightforward ROI that we were expecting from TechnoVal and the product to HR to do like the job they're supposed to do, rather than like wasting on helping employees and helping track their access, track their services and requirements, and so on and so forth. Another thing which they help was the governance. Sorry, it's the governance side of the documents. So all these documents were like, as I said, we had a file server, we had OpenText, certain things are in SharePoint, certain things are in OneDrive. So it was scattered around everywhere. At the same time, there was no governance on it, because like there were no notifications, or they were like, the team themselves will lose track of when the renewals are. That is another thing where like we now we can upload the document in the folders and in business workspaces of employees, with all the metadata that required. Metadata, what I mean, the start date, the end date, the expiry date, and the system is also sending us, the employees, and also the HR team, a notification before the expiry. So on these matters, yeah, we really like, thanks to you, Ishmael, and team. It really helped us a lot growing as a company, and to clear all these business processes and all that.
A pleasure. Thank you. Thank you, Sangeet. I have one more follow-up questions. There was a lot of, when we did this assessment, there were a lot of issues in document generation being in a multi-country environment. Can you talk about that part where having a multiple templates, manual templates, and doing all this stuff there?
Right. So, yeah, having to work within both the Middle East and Europe and US region. So the things like the things that an employee required, I would say the requirement was like different. But what TechnoVal helped us do is to create a certain form which incorporates all these requirements in a single form and in a single template, where the requester can change it based on their. So, for example, if I could go specifically, if an employee is requesting something for Serbia, and the moment they select their business unit, that the whole template changes according to what they need. and vice versa for US, for UAE, for other business units.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that information. Last not the least, John. I was involved with John for I don't know, 5-6 years back. We had a lot of work, and this time we went on the journey of finance automation or finance transformation. John, would you like to share your journey as well there on the finance side?
Yeah, sure. Yes, well. So when OpenText BIM was implemented, at that time we had almost 200 stores and 20 warehouses. And invoice processing was actually a distributed process, and it was done at each store and warehouse separately. And we were receiving close to 20,000 invoices per day, and all these invoices were received manually and were verified by the goods receiving staff. So they were manually checking the purchase order, which is against the invoice, to match the product quantity and the price, and also the content of the invoice for the VAT-related requirements. So any discrepancy found, they were actually coordinating with the different departments. So any product quantity or price-related irregularities, they were consulting the buying department, and any VAT-related issues they found, they will contact the accounts department for the approval and to proceed with the receipt. So this was creating actually a huge delay in our receiving process, and subsequent goods receipt as well as the accounts payable process were getting delayed. So, and also transferring of this invoice from one department to another, and also tracking these invoices were a challenge for us. And this was the time actually the tax was introduced in UAE, and Oman, KSA, and Bahrain also introduced tax. So VAT was implemented there. So and the requirement was to keep these documents, all the transactional document, for a period of 7 to 10 years. So this is where we wanted an automated and integrated solution to provide us the end-to-end visibility. So that is how OpenText was very helpful for us to overcome all these challenges.
Thank you. So John, we had you had an issue with receiving the paper invoices, right? And a lot of that. How did you overcome through OpenText technology in that case?
Actually, now we receive all our invoices electronically, so we don't have to deal with any physical papers anymore. So okay. Actually, and the capture solution from OpenText, actually that is minimized our data entry job. So it captures all the invoice data without much human intervention, and this is sent to ERP, and all data captured were then verified, and then SAP triggered workflows if any exceptions are there. So this way we got complete process visibility while automating the process, and also these documents are digitally available for all the business groups. And also if any tax requirement comes, we are able to retrieve this document from the system.
Okay, very good. And did you get a sort of a improvement in terms of time spent by people? So you had a distributed system earlier, right? Yeah. And post implementation of this technology, is there any change in the share? I mean, in the receiving the invoices, and how much time people are investing or spending in processing this? Is there any difference you get from the ROI perspective?
Yes, well, when we talk about the business, benefit, this is not only helped our business, but it helped the supplier as well. So this implementation was actually a digital transformation for the supplier also. So we have done actually EDI integration with our leading suppliers, and others we gave mail option. There was an email which was given to the supplier to mail their invoices, and we have given an portal also for them to upload the invoices against the purchase order. So the benefit for the supplier was the delivery time which was reduced drastically. And for when we talk about our benefits, we stopped the distributed process and created shared service for all our GCC countries. So this helps us to optimize the process and give us real-time operational visibility across the regions with better control in terms of validation and account payables. So our receiving process also improved very significantly and easing the pressure on our workforce. So during crunch time, giving them better predictability, and accordingly they were able to plan their works.
Oh, perfect.
And also from the compliance and regulatory perspective, now all documents are stored in the system centrally, and it is accessible to all the business groups. By implementing this, actually we were able to redistribute our 50% of our data entry and accounts payable workforce, resulting in better TCO and ROI.
Wow. It's a massive reduction, actually, a massive improvement in the process as well there. Thank you.
Right.
Thank you, John. I guess I'm done with the questions. Aki, if you have any questions on the chat, can we look at that?
Yes, we do have some questions coming in. I think I will start with the one from Kapil. I think this is for you, Yashpal. He's saying one of the pain points that he noticed in the region is related to challenges in OCR capability for Arabic language. Can you shed more light on the features and on OpenText roadmap to bridge this pain point?
Sure. So Arabic language always been a pain point in OpenText ecosystem. And yes, that the spending has been, or the technology investment has been on improving the product itself than the OCR. What we have realized is there are many companies, especially, I'm not promoting any one of them, but there are 3 companies like Abby, Sakar, and Nova Dynamic. Couple of them have the direct integration with OpenText. So whenever Arabic OCR requirements are there, we use one of these platform to integrate with OpenText. In fact, we are doing with a couple of government customers in KSA, where Arabic documents are mandatory, and we are using these technologies to integrate with OpenText and have the searchable. But once they are in OpenText, they can be searched by Arabic language. That's not a challenge. OpenText is already on Arabic language pack. Okay. Do we have next question? You are on mute, Akinola.
Yeah, next question here is for Akbar. It says, what were the challenges you faced during your master data automation journey? And is there any advice you want to give to avoid these issues?
For sure. I think master data itself is a challenge. Yeah. I think the fundamental challenge which we face is people knowing what is the data. Yeah. And it's very scattered across the organization. Yeah. Somebody don't know what is this data is. Yeah. For example, if I take a very small example, for example, let's say VAT number. Yeah. For sales team, this makes no value. For finance team, it's the most important thing. Yeah. To identify what is my mandatory attributes and what should be the criteria to satisfy that the data inside this attribute is a valid. For example, VAT should be 15 character long. If the VAT is not 15 character, even though there are characters, it can be a wrong character. Yeah. So you have to identify for each field. I'm not saying each field means whatever your required fields are. What is mandatory, what is not mandatory, and what should be the criteria to validate that data is correct or not correct. SAP has, many attributes. We will not use all of them. So we need to identify which attributes are really required, and then what is the condition for each of these attributes. We prepare the data dictionary, which is very, very helpful in SAP terminology. We call it KDS, yeah, key data structure. This KDS document needs to be continuously updated. If you have a very good KDS document, your 60% or 70% of the master data problem will be resolved. Yeah. Don't rely what the service provider or SI is giving you a KDS document and you said this KDS is more than enough. Please spend good amount of time to validate this KDS and then make sure that your required attributes are mentioned within this KDS document. So I think fundamental for the success is very important. The KDS document should be very good in place before you go into the master data journey. Yeah.
Thank you, Akbar.
Thank you very much, Akbar. Before I go on to the next 2 questions, before we wrap up, we have a quick final poll. I'll just launch that poll while we take on the rest of the question. Please feel free to punch in any option that applies to you, and then we'll be able to take note of that. You can just click and then submit. Okay. I'm going to just go on to the next question while the poll is active. The next question is, I believe, for Sanjit. After the implementation, are you self-reliant or you need heavy involvement from partner?
I would say yes and no, because In terms of, whatever implemented by Ishpal and team, there is a clear handover and there's a clear support from the team. And Praveen and Manoj has been excellent with all the communications and handover and the transfer of knowledge case. So we do take care of all those things which is created. Though if there is a new requirement from the business side for a new workflow or a new or a major change in an existing workflow, we do rely a bit with TechnoVal on that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. I think Kapil, I'm not sure if this is a follow-up. Okay, it says AP invoice automation is one of the, okay, I think it's a comment. Okay, please can you reach out to us on how TechnoVal and OpenText help in transformation? Okay, thank you, Yashpal. I think you'll be taking that post again.
Sure, Kapil. I mean, please send us your details and we can contact you. Thank you.
Sure. Then this last one from Anishkala. There are standard sets of workflows, upload document options in SAP SuccessFactors. How different from OpenText and how TechnoVal helped in this journey? Yashpal, you want to take that?
I think it's a question for Sangeet.
Yeah.
Okay, Sanjeet. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, Nishkala, I'm sorry, like I'm not exactly sure how good is the workflows or upload documents option in SAP SuccessFactors, but definitely the options which provided from OpenText by TechnoVal was I'm sure it's much better in terms of the ease of use, and also like yeah, that's a point I forgot to mention actually. Like Akbar rightly said, the mobile application, the application that we have on OpenText exactly changes the whole thing. I mean, the workflow that I was talking about, all the employee documents that we can upload and share, and the creation of the request of all these employee self-service documents, it all can be done from mobile, so which is a great thing. So on that front end and upload from mobile and all, I'm not sure if SuccessFactors supports it from the mobile application. So on that front, yeah, it's really helpful and it's ease of use.
Okay, great.
So
Thank
just
you,
to add to that, Akinol, just to add to that, typically OpenText workflows are not confined to SuccessFactors screens or SuccessFactors module, right? So you can use any other information, so cross information across the modules in SuccessFactors outside of it and have drive the entire process. And that's a huge benefit compared to having a very containerized workflow which is available from SuccessFactors.
All right, thank you very much. Please don't forget to click in on the poll. It's just a quick poll. How would you like to interact post-webinar? If you want an advisory workshop, develop a use case, conduct health check, and help scale automation. I will take this last question before we close from Khalid. Do you have data analytics and machine learning capabilities in terms of descriptive, prescriptive, and predictive requirements? Thank you, Yashpal.
Yes. So yes, OpenText have those capabilities, but it's in terms of the content, right? So you have massive amount of unstructured data, which is in terms of document, and there are set of solutions which can use to feed all this content and then start giving you the predictive information about which is contained in your documents in the hundreds of pages, which you may not be able to get insight of. Getting a predictive analytics and information from a structured data, which is an ERP, is very straightforward. There are tons of applications for that, but it becomes a huge challenge when they are in 100 pages and not in a way you expect. There's no rows and columns, right? It's purely a language. And extracting those analytics from those documents becomes a huge challenge. And of course, there's a solutions for that. There are many solutions on, Malaysian government using that. There are many governments are using that. There's one use case where I will not say the customer, but a political entity, of course, they want to feed on or get the input of all the social media feed and newspaper feed and understand what citizens are saying about or what the opinions are there, right? And based on that, they want to raise those topics in the parliament. When we heard that, it was amazing use case. I mean, it was never done before. So we started using those part and we delivered to one of the government in GCC. So yes, the solution exists and we can talk about that. I mean, reach out to us and we can explain you more on that.
Okay, it's been a very interesting session. I would like to take it on, but again, time is not our friend. I would like to say a big thank you to our team of panelists. Thank you, Akbar. Thank you, Sanjeet. Thank you, Hamza. Thank you, John. And of course, Yashpal, for helping us to provide those context and insight into some of the journeys and your case studies as well. Thank you to all our attendees for taking the time to be part of this very interesting session. I hope you have found it very useful and interesting. Please feel free to connect post-event. We'll be able to connect you with the TechnoVal team to be able to take this conversation forward. But at this point, I would like to call it a day. Thank you all. I would like to wish you to enjoy the rest of your day and have a great, week ahead. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank
you.
you.
Appreciate everybody's time. Thank you.
Thank you, Ashfaq.
Yeah.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.